Meet Hiro. He lives with a problem you might recognize. His brain is a perpetual motion machine, constantly cataloging past mistakes and wanting simulations of future disasters. And while his mind sprints at 100 miles an hour, his body is entirely frozen in place. We often treat this kind of relentless intellect as a tactical advantage, a way to stay one step ahead of the world. But for Hiro, constant analysis acts as a prison. It renders him completely incapable of existing in the present moment. Psychologists refer to this state as mental friction. When you constantly second-guess your actions and obsess over outcomes, your internal thought process literally tangles into a knot, creating a paralyzing resistance to doing anything at all. A brain entirely consumed by the weight of yesterday and the possibilities of tomorrow simply has no bandwidth left. It is physically incapable of functioning effectively right now. Desperate for a solution to his internal noise, Hiro embarks on a grueling, multi-day hike up a distant mountain, seeking the guidance of a renowned Zen master. When he finally reaches the summit, the contrast is jarring. Hiro is exhausted, sweating, and frantic. The master sits before him in deep meditation, eyes closed, radiating absolute stillness. Hearing Hiro's plea for a quiet mind, the master leads him to a courtyard. He points to a massive stone basin filled to the brim with water and hands Hiro a ladle. The task is simple: transfer the entire contents of that massive basin into a tiny, empty wooden bowl nearby. But there is a catch, a severe one. Hiro must complete this transfer without spilling a single drop of water onto the ground. Look closely at the physical setup of this challenge. The master is asking Hiro to force a massive, overwhelming volume of water into an impossibly tight constraint. It is a direct physical mirror of what Hiro does every day, trying to force a mountain of anxiety into a single moment. Hiro attacks the basin exactly how he attacks his own life, with brute force. He scoops rapidly, his mind calculating angles and trajectories, treating the water like an enemy that can be defeated through sheer physical labor. The law of reversed effort dictates that aggressively forcing an outcome generates opposing friction. That friction grows exponentially, stalling momentum. Hiro's desperate effort splinters into erratic movements, causing spills. As desperation peaks, his physical effectiveness plummets to zero. After hours of frantic scooping, Hiro hits his absolute breaking point. He collapses in total exhaustion. The massive stone basin remains full. Pure effort alone rarely yields perfection. When you poison hard work with anxiety and a desperate attachment to the final result, your labor turns into self-sabotage. The Zen master observes this destruction. Then he walks over, places a gentle hand on Hiro's trembling shoulder, and completely halts the frantic labor. He tells his student that he is trying far too hard and missing the only step that matters. Before Hiro can empty the physical basin of water, he must first empty his own mind. This instruction requires a complete shift in mechanics. He must drop his fear, stop looking at the small bowl, and let go of his obsession. You cannot sprint effectively if you spend the entire dash staring at your own feet. Releasing your obsession with crossing the finish line is the only practical way to run the race. Hiro takes a deep, grounding breath. He releases his frustration, drops his shoulders, and completely abandons his frantic pacing. He stops calculating. Instead, he shifts his entire focus to the sensory reality of the moment: the sound of the water, the weight of the ladle, the movement of his own arm. By focusing purely on the present, Hiro enters the flow state. His mind clears, dissolving the internal gridlock, and action becomes effortless. Without mental friction, the body executes flawlessly. That internal stillness translates into highly precise external movement, creating a seamless rhythm. When you divorce your physical actions from your ego, fear of judgment, and habit of overthinking, you stop getting in your own way. What was once an impossible, painful struggle becomes natural, unstoppable momentum. The physical result of this mental shift is striking. Hiro begins to transfer the water scoop by scoop without spilling a single drop. Over time, the massive stone basin steadily drains into the small ceramic bowl. As the last drop falls, the master explains the reality of what just happened. An empty mind removes the ego from the equation, and in doing so, it allows the universe to operate smoothly through the individual. True capability rarely comes from forcing an outcome or muscling through an obstacle. It comes from quieting the internal noise, setting the ego aside, and surrendering entirely to the task in front of you.